Welcome to Conversations from the Barn at Everwood Farmstead. These are casual chats with visiting artists, creaky barn, bugs, and all. Enjoy. Hey everybody, welcome to Conversations from the Barn. This is Bill. I'm here with Chris and Em, and we are. Why is everybody laughing? I've just started talking. We're not editing this out. This is not making the blooper roll.
You have become the game show host all of a sudden.
Well, hey, it's the start of a new season, and there's a lot of energy. Woo. And woo, yeah,
Shoop, shoop.
Yeah. We're here with Sarah and Amanda, and our first two guests of. I'll say season 13. It's not season 13 of the Artist Retreat, but season 13 of what's been happening here. I'll let you both introduce yourself. Amanda, why don't we start with you?
My name is Amanda Hanlon. I am a visual artist working in painting and printmaking. I do a lot of work that references architectural spaces, so I have spent a lot of time this week looking at all the beautiful architecture here on the Everwood farm, which has been really lovely. Do you like more information?
I think that's a great start.
Okay, cool.
We don't clap as much as we do during the podcast as we do in some of our games.
Deserve a clap.
It did deserve a clap. It was really good.
I'm Sarah Elstran. I am a musician. I was not prepared to be like, hello, this is me. But yes, I usually make music. I primarily do record myself using a vocal looper, and I use elements from nature and percussive elements. And I was kind of drawn to this place because of the spaces and the potential to utilize that through loops and capturing that. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I think it's awesome. We have so much to talk about.
I'm really curious about how the barn was as an instrument for you.
It was awesome. I mean, you can hear it, just like the birds will react to I was literally playing with the birds so often in here. And then they would be captured in the loop. And then even when the barn wakes up and the sun shines on it, it crackles and it moves and it shifts, and all those things kind of got picked up in a way that it just kind of ticked. It just, like in a clock way, it just made my brain, it felt like playing the whole time. And I think sometimes I was having the intention, like the hold back of being like, this isn't big enough because the space feels so big. And instead I found myself kind of laughing, and I was like, there's nothing to take serious. Like, I'm being surrounded by a choir of jokers, and like the birds are laughing at each other, and like it just seemed like kind of silly to me at times, like more than I thought it would be. But then also in an absolutely beautiful way, because it's like the birds are like an overarching constancy in this place. Okay. But I'm super, the barn was like its own character to me, and felt like was with me. You were just talking about the chipmunk. It's just like there would be something scurrying on the floor, and maple leaves coming in, and the doors being like rattled. It's just, I'm so sensitive on sounds, and it's like, I almost couldn't chill in here because it felt like the spring energy of like the barn was also like, it's like, wow. But it was cool because I tried to capture that in an also peaceful way, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I had a very particular experience this week being on the farm. And it's one of my favorite things to sit up in my studio, and I have my door open all the time, and to hear music coming out of the barn, and to look across the lawn and see you painting in a different corner during the course of the day. It just makes my heart want to go. But we've talked about kind of honoring all the voices in the barn. Like all the moos of the cows are up there, and there are I do's from weddings, and there's Puccini opera, and Jeremy Messersmith and Chris Koza, and all of these voices are now kind of up in the barn, and we feel the community. And hearing your looping this week, there was a quality to it that it's like, it kind of felt like all the voices in the barn were singing out the windows, that like you found the key to the door to kind of let them out somehow out onto the prairie. It just felt so natural and mystical all at the same time.
Yeah, I totally felt that. Like, I was intentionally hearing, like, that's why it felt funny, I think, at times, because there's so much energy in here. And I think there's a lot of intention with that energy. And I purposely had in my mentality that I was going to leave more voices here that haven't been sung yet. Like, I had that thought of, like, this is here for somebody else. Like, I filled this space for you. Like, now you can hear it, you can capture it. It just felt like almost like a hide and seek type of game.
Now someone else can loop on it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I couldn't help but be like, I don't know why I keep saying it in a way. I usually don't talk about my loops in like a silly way, but it felt very fun. And I think it's because it felt like the energy, or like the child like idea to play with your art. I was experiencing that a lot.
There was this fun afternoon where I was walking. It was when you had the amplifier going in here, and I was walking down the road to take a walk before getting started. And as I came back around, like you had mentioned how far the sound can go. And I was very far away from the barn, but like you could hear it, and it was really neat because as I was coming around the corner, there's this like ethereal sound. And then I'm looking at that old house that's sitting out in the middle of the prairie, and there was this kind of like ambient, like ghost-like quality. It was really lovely, just all of the elements of like the time of day, and then this like a sound that you wouldn't hear just out of anywhere, and then this like abandoned house. It was a really cool visual, really cool experience.
So you mentioned the architectural inspiration of the farmstead. Any building in particular or any object in particular that struck you? And
there was a lot to look at this week. The light is gorgeous here, and the
I was waiting. When was Sonia going to make her appearance?
That's right. Speaking of voices, haunting voices.
There was the one day when it rained and we were stuck inside, and so I spent that day looking at the residence. And then there's this spot on the backside of the barn that I really liked, because as the sun rises from the east, it casts these really beautiful shadows along that kind of modern-looking staircase that you all built in the back. So there's this really nice comparison between the old building and then this new structure. So I think like the residence and then this side of the barn were probably the places that I enjoyed the most, for different reasons. There's like a really subtle light inside of the house, and there's a really strong light over here. So it was nice to be able to have the whole week to kind of see what was happening with the light and then strategize that way, which was lovely to have the time, because sometimes I'll just go into a place and be like, well, this is what I got. I just got to work with it. And this way I could kind of see what it was speaking to me a bit more.
We were just talking last night at dinner about the radical idea of slowing down and how rare it is, and what that does to you to have the ability to have time and space to slow down.
Yeah.
How did that touch you this week?
It's been my life outside of the retreat has been very busy lately, and very full, and so it's been nice to have. I think you and I even made this comment of like, the days are really long. Like, we'll have a lot of time to be able to figure out what to do, and so it felt really luxurious to like wake up and have coffee and be able to write and do some yoga and then figure out the plan for the day. Where in normal life, it's like, well, I got to get somewhere at X amount of time.
I've got 2 hours to paint.
I got to squeeze it in amongst all the other things that I have to do. So it took a lot of the urgency around, like, you got to squeeze this in. I was able to breathe a little bit more about what I wanted to do.
How do you experience the breath in your paintings?
This week I kind of noticed at one point where I was feeling a little hurried with one painting because I wanted to like make sure I caught something before the light changed. And that felt really different than the other days before that, where I was like, didn't really have that time urgency. And it was a reminder of like, this should happen all the time. Like I should do what I can to be like what you're talking about with play. Like I love doing this. Like I need to remember, like it's not like a product or a thing that I have to get out of my system. Like I have to remember that I got all the time in the world to like play and like figure this out. And I think that's where the breath comes from, is like realizing that nothing needs to be rushed. Like there'll be enough time for this to happen. Yeah.
How about for you, Sarah?
Where does breath come in?
Yeah. Or just even slowing down. What did that mean for you?
I told you this before, but my meditative process lately is singing, like the actual act of singing. And I only discovered that really intensely like 2 years ago, that because I wasn't able to get into the breath work of practice. Like I tried doing some pranayama breath work, and it was getting me into a sense of like really beautiful, relaxed feeling, you know, if you're like in a float deprivation tank or something. Like I would think about breath a lot in those things, but when I could actually meditate and feel the clarity and kind of like a shedding too at the same time, I am physically singing, which is crazy to me. And I think about breathing so little when I'm singing, because I'm just doing it. Like I'm not actually thinking about my breath at all. I'm just embodying the breath. And I think that was another thing, because with the deep breathing and like pranayama, you're really like experiencing it. You're concentrating on where it is in your body and if you're doing it correctly and pushing yourself. Whereas singing, it's just like a ride that I'm like on and I can't get off. And I don't know, I think breath in this space too of slowing down, I was able to access those meditation times while I was singing more often. It's pretty rare when I get to do that. And sometimes it's live in front of people, and because I barely practice for loops lately and stuff, so yeah.
Well,
Speaking of extra space, I understand that there was a game of cribbage that went on this week. How did that go? Em, how was it?
It was quite lovely, to say the least.
Are you a cribbage master? Or?
Absolutely.
Now you are.
I'm leaving that
We've
to
had
you.
such a good teacher.
Yes,
Yeah.
Sarah was the best teacher. I think, like, not to get super ridiculously sappy, but like in every space that I've gone to in these past like 4 years, like I am a recent college graduate, and so I went to college knowing no one from my high school went there, and so I was really worried about finding connections when I was there, and I was worried about finding like quote unquote my people. And I think my roommate used to tell me that I'm like one of the most personable people that she knows. But even like coming into this job, I was really worried about connecting with you guys, and I was worried about connecting with the people who come here. And so I'm endlessly grateful for you saying, do you want to come over at 7 p.m. and play cribbage? Because like seriously, I want to be a little selfish, and I do like want to get to know you guys too while you're here, and I want to be able to like relish these moments while I'm here just as much as you guys get to. So yeah, I am not a cribbage master, but I'm a cribbage enjoyer, and I think that that's something lovely to take away.
Worth a lot.
Yes, it's worth a lot. So
I love games with friends or after dinner or something that it just. I'm terrible at it, but I'm very enthusiastic about it.
don't worry, I came last place both times.
Nice work.
So we
Nice
both
work.
did. Amanda was the winner both
It's
times.
just, we're all winners when you play the game. But
So you played 3-hand cribbage, is that right?
Yeah, I was gonna do
Okay.
captain, but
Yeah.
they were new, so I was about to confuse them more.
Yeah.
So I have a board with 3. You could play 3 at the same time.
Oh, you brought a board.
Yeah, I have one in
She
my
had one
car.
in her car.
I was looking for
You know,
like the beautiful handmade one.
An
I think it might
emergency
be at our
cribbage
place.
board.
Oh, so that's what I was so, because we received this stunning cribbage board for our wedding, and he doesn't play cribbage, and I've tried to teach him. I don't even know if I've ever tried to teach you.
We know better than to. Try
That's
that.
fair. And so when I got that text, I was like, oh my God, it's so great. They're using the cribbage board in the house. Like it's getting some use. And now I'm kind of sad that it was yours.
No, she brought like my mom with Scrabble. She brings her own board.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I
I've played this
sometime.
before once. Yeah.
Oh,
All right,
the
now we
Scrabble,
gotta-
but Scrabble's no joke. It's like I don't want to play people who are great at Scrabble.
Yeah, don't play Chris's
Yeah.
mom.
She-
She and
There are a few moments
fierce.
when like the old lady energy that this is a full strength and you just do not see her coming. And so she just like bent over at the table. Oh, I know a few words if you want to.
and then she'll drop like QZ and like in a triple word, and she'll find a way to make it like, oh, it's in the dictionary. I swear,
Quagmire.
it's there.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I love it.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm glad you guys had a little cribbage tournament.
It was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
And you had never played before,
I
Amanda.
had never played before.
And you had never played before either?
I had played before.
It'd just been a while.
It had just been a while.
I
Okay.
thought I had played, but then when we were learning,
halfway
I was
through.
like, I don't think I've ever played this before. Like, none of this is ringing bells.
15-2.
Yeah.
You know, it's a really good.
You'd remember 15-2, 15-4, right?
First time she did that, I'm like, what are you even
Yeah,
saying?
sounds like a different one. That's awesome.
Awesome. Did you find yourself have you deviated from your plan when you arrived
Your intentions?
Yeah, I did.
dramatically, or describe how?
Sure. I had a bunch of colored pencil sketches I had done in other locations that I was planning to make more realized work from. And so I thought that I brought those with thinking that I might work from them or might like explore and kind of free jam on those a little bit. But I was not interested in working from those at all. And I ended up doing plein air painting for the entire week, which I wasn't planning to do. I thought I would do more stuff in the studio, or I would do like a little bit of work from observation and then bring it into the studio and then start working from there. And I didn't do any of that. It was all observational work for the whole week.
I always have to, because I wasn't here this week. In fact, I wasn't here at all. I had left on Sunday, and Chris on Monday morning, and I'm in it deep at work, and Chris sends a text and said, Amanda's plein air painting in the yard, and Sarah's looping in the barn right now, and it's just lovely. And I'm like, part of me's like, oh, fuck. But the other part of me is like, oh. So it's usually the latter that always prevails, but there's an initial like, kind of that when I get those texts, and you painted a really lovely picture of how the week started.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, did like all of the observational work kind of indulge your feeling of luxuriousness? Was that kind of something that you felt was something you wanted to was something that you resonated with this week?
Yeah, I think that's a good question, because I think so. A lot of times I don't end up plein air painting because I'm short on time, or I got my dog with me, or like there's like a thing like that I have to navigate around that it doesn't make it. It's you need like a lot of elements to work to be able to set up an easel outside and have it be not a disaster. So yeah, I think that it did definitely speak to that for sure.
How about your intentions, Sarah?
I definitely, let me think. Yes, I kind of went along my initial attention, goals, lists, the things I had hoped, but I also did sit with the moments of like, I have so much time. Like I would be like, it would be 10 o'clock. Maybe I started singing at 9. A whole hour of singing for me is crazy. Like to be able to do it in silence or like a nice flow. To kind of look at the time, I'm like, well, I guess I could do like 100 other things. Like so, and part of that it was hard to. There was always something to do. Everyone is like endless with things to do in the way of like. I would go take a walk in the garden and I would see something like new sprouting up, or there's animals everywhere. There's just like always something to observe that's also like there's just bustling around here. So I'd walk on the trail and the goats are hanging out and eating stuff and the bees are buzzing. There was a lot of flies hanging out too.
You met a few ticks too.
Yeah,
right?
I had a bunch of ticks this week. I also was like frolicking in fields I shouldn't have been.
The frolicking is the hard part.
It's cool to imitate nature, and I was able to do that a lot more than I ever thought I would, I guess, because it's ever would, I guess. It's funny.
So by frolicking, is it like a Julie Andrews kind of frolic, or is it more like a Carrie from Little House on the Prairie frolic?
I was like legitimately in the field singing.
You know what I'm talking about,
You
right?
know, like the hills are alive. I was.
So it wasn't like a reckless down the hill, like and then a
No,
little
I was
tumble.
like doing the spin and yelling into the void of the hills and hearing echoes, and I went down to the trail where the grass is a little taller, and that's where I got the ticks. So
Oh yeah,
it wasn't mowed.
rookie mistake.
Yeah, totally.
That's how they get
I was
you.
also wearing like very loosely fitted
Open-toed
clothes.
sandals, I guess.
Yeah, that's just how I operate. I didn't really think about the clothes aspect of this week.
Are there any practices from this week having this like open time that you want to bring back home?
Oh yeah.
I feel like I am going to. Okay, let me think longer on my question. Actually,
Are you answering?
my answer.
I think definitely there was a painting that I did in the hallway at the residence that like you're by that back door and you're looking out into the living room, and you can see the living room and then you can see the staircase going upstairs to the second floor.
Yep.
And I have at my home at home, I have a staircase that I've been wanting to make a painting from for a long time, but I haven't I sort of tried and it didn't really work out. And doing that work to this week in that space gave me a lot of food for thought about how I might approach that painting at home. And I had made a lot of paintings from interior spaces a year and a half ago, and I'd been having a hard time getting back into that again. And I did a painting here inside the barn, and I did that one. I'm like, oh, I think it's time for me to get back to painting interior spaces again. So I think in that sense, I have some ideas. Because of this week, I have some ideas about how I would approach paintings I've been wanting to do for a while. Yeah.
Cool. Sarah, has that given you ample time to just be...
I was thinking about what she was saying. I forgot it was my turn. I was like, man, that's really interesting. I would hope that I can. The expectation I feel like I have a pretty good relationship with not having like the world of I'm gonna make my favorite song right now, and I think I have put that pressure on myself for years. And I think my goal, which I'm gonna take with that Chris said, was that I should make this for myself, and even in performance, like, and what does that look like? And that's something I'm really gonna dive into after this, because this week was just as much for us though as the space and interacting with it, and you two, and just like cultivating just the ritual of having Everwood, because it is crazy. All this, I heard about this from friends because they recommended it, and I could see why. I have like 5 people in my mind that I'm like, they need to come here. And I feel like that, just the cycle of encouraging people to take some time for themselves. I think I'm gonna really take that into practice, because it's not like I'm ever gonna try to like recreate what happened here, because I think it's kind of a timeless thing that we get to take with us. But I think the idea that it started here and to be able to, I don't know, just the ripple effect. It just keeps rippling, and that like we can carry that with us. If that, I don't know, I'm trying to convey a bigger thing than what I'm executing.
You've kind of come full circle, to be honest, with your original answer of like leaving something up for others to discover in the future.
You can feel that all around here. It's so cool. I love it. I love that people like that you did something different and it wasn't expected, and even if it's like a really small thing, I think with artistry that can be a huge deal for your mentality, because once your art shifts or the way you look at it, especially for you because it's like perspective. And I think it's actually it's just for me as much. Perspective is absolutely a part of music, and I think it's so cool. So it's been a whole 180 rotation. It's cool.
Shall we ask our final question?
I think so.
I think we should.
Do it.
Do
you remember it?
I do remember it. We close all of our podcasts with the same question. So if you haven't listened to the podcast, you may not know what's coming.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. So our question to you.
It's his way of asking, have you ever listened to us before? And we both admitted no, which is a strike
I
against
promise
you.
I will now.
And I'm writing that down.
Demerit, Sarah. Demerit.
They were doing so well.
I know. Gosh.
So the question is, how have you experienced beauty today?
Just today?
Today.
Oh.
Normally we say during the week, but because of your demerit, you're limited to today.
I can't think of the whole week. I have to think a little bit more.
Oh, she's putting the pressure on Sarah. I love it.
I think it's just been all of the observation. I did have a moment where I walked through the garden, and there's like 6 roses. Maybe they're not roses. They smell delicious, but they all bloomed just today. And I walked yesterday, and there was just one, I think. And there was a huge fat bumblebee just loving this flower, like these 3 very fresh flowers. And it looked so heavy. And I just observed how it's just like, it's so impossible that bees can fly around like with these tiny little wings, especially this ginormous bee. And thinking how like that is just being a human as well. Like that we kind of have a conscious decision-making thing and what our minds can do, and how it's just this like heavy weight sometimes of what we're going on. And I think it's just so beautiful that your mentality can just change like everything in your life, like and affect other people around you. But yeah, I think that was really beautiful to me because it was like comical as well.
It's like a bee in a hot tub, a flower hot tub, just soaking it up.
There's many beautiful things, but the ones that come to mind from today are, there's a room in the house that has a very comfortable chair in it that I've been sitting in every morning to drink my coffee and write in my journal. And when I sit there is when the sun comes up and then it like leaves this pool of light on the floor, and that I have found very beautiful. And I was painting that table today that has a tablecloth on it and the bouquet that has been wilting throughout the week. And it's this gorgeous marigold color, and it had the wind coming through, and so it was just sort of flapping in the breeze, and that was really lovely. And then on my walk, I'm giving you three things. You asked for one
Great.
thing.
No, I love it.
My walk that I've been taking on the country road, I just kind of go out and then I come back. There's this wall of ferns that are up against these red pine trees, and the ferns are like bright green, and the red pine trees are like this purple color, and them next to each other is really gorgeous. So just those little vignettes have been in my head swirling about.
I'm going to remove your demerit.
Okay.
You're back in the positive.
Oh, that's good. Phew.
Thank you both for being a part of this conversation, and thank you for starting our season off with just a lot of beauty and loveliness. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your generosity for this week. This has been incredible. Thank you very much.
So glad.
Hospitality.
Cheers.
We
Woo woo.
thank you both. Please stay in touch, would you?
Of
Yeah.
course.
Okay, good.
Thanks for listening to Conversations from the Barn at Everwood Farmstead. Our theme music is provided by John Mark Nelson. Wishing you all good health.